Ever wonder if someone's thoughts about you border on obsession without you even noticing it? Welcome to the mysterious and intriguing world of obsession. It's a place where emotions run high, where feelings intensify, and where the line between admiration and fixation begins to blur. Obsession is a complex beast, often misunderstood and frequently unrecognized. It lurks in the shadows, hiding behind the guise of affection, admiration, and even love. But make no mistake, obsession is not love, nor is it a harmless crush. It is an intense, often unhealthy fixation on another person that can lead to extreme behaviors and emotions. But how do we identify obsession, particularly when it's directed towards us? The signs are often subtle, easily missed in the hustle and bustle of daily life. And yet, they are there, a constant undercurrent that, once noticed, is impossible to ignore. Think about that friend who always seems to be around, who's overly interested in your day-to-day life, who's always ready with a compliment or a kind word. It might seem like they're just being friendly, but could it be a sign of something more? Or what about that colleague who always seems to know a little too much about your personal life, despite your best efforts to keep things professional? These are the subtle signs of obsession that we often overlook, dismissing them as quirks or coincidences. But when these behaviors become consistent, when they start to dominate a person's interactions with you, it may be time to take a closer look. Obsession differs from admiration, or a crush in its intensity and its persistence. It's not about fleeting feelings or temporary infatuations. It's about a relentless focus on another person, often to the exclusion of everything else. So, how can you tell if someone's thoughts about you border on obsession? By understanding the signs and learning to recognize them in your own interactions. Stay tuned, because we're about to delve into the signs that someone is obsessed with you. Keep listening to discover the signs that someone is obsessed with you. The first sign of obsession is constant attention. Now, it's great to be in someone's thoughts, to have them care about you, to check on you. But when this attention becomes constant, it may signal something more. Imagine you're in a group setting. Amidst the laughter and chatter, you notice one person who always seems to gravitate towards you. They're always ready to engage you in conversation, dropping everyone else as if you were the only person in the room. Their gaze constantly follows you, their words always directed at you. It's as if you are the center of their universe. This constant focus, this incessant need to be near you, to engage with you, it could be an indicator of something deeper, something more intense, perhaps an obsession. Remember, constant attention can be flattering, but it can also be a sign of obsession. The second sign of obsession is being overly protective. This is when someone shows an excessive concern for your safety or well-being. It's natural for friends or loved ones to care about your welfare, but when it crosses a line, it's important to take note. The overly protective person might try to shield you from perceived dangers, even when there's no real threat. They might insist on driving you everywhere, or discourage you from certain activities, places, or people they deem unsafe. They might also make decisions for you, thinking they know what's best for your safety or happiness. This could range from what you should eat, to who you should hang out with, or even what job you should take. It's crucial to remember that everyone has the right to make their own choices. Overprotectiveness can be a sign of care, but when excessive, it may indicate obsession. The third sign of obsession is excessive communication. Imagine someone who constantly reaches out to you, not just once or twice a day, but several times. Their messages flood your inbox, their calls fill up your call history. They're always eager to chat, to catch up, to know what you're up to. This person could be using various platforms, calls, texts, emails, or social media to stay connected. They seem to have an insatiable curiosity about your daily activities, your thoughts, your experiences. They want to know what you had for breakfast, how your meeting went, what movie you watched, or how you're feeling at any given moment. It's like they're trying to be a part of your life, every minute of every day. Now, communication is the lifeblood of any relationship. But when it becomes this overwhelming, it's not just about staying connected anymore. Frequent communication is a part of any relationship, but when it becomes overwhelming, it might be a sign of obsession. The fourth sign of obsession is jealousy. This is not your garden variety envy we're talking about, but a heightened, almost irrational form of jealousy that seems to consume the person completely. You see, when someone is obsessed with you, they may feel threatened by your other relationships, whether they're friendships, familial ties, or professional associations. They might start questioning your interactions with others, demanding explanations for the most mundane encounters. Who was that you were talking to? Why did you spend so much time with them? These become common questions, their insecurity manifesting as a possessive need for your time and attention. This jealousy is not just about romantic rivals. It extends to anyone who shares a bond with you, anyone they perceive as taking away even a fraction of the attention they crave. Remember, everyone experiences jealousy from time to time. It's a common human emotion, but when it becomes extreme, pervasive, and begins to dictate your interactions, it could indicate obsession. Jealousy is a common human emotion, but when it's extreme, it could indicate obsession. The fifth sign of obsession is knowing too much about you. Now, this isn't your best friend remembering your favorite comfort food after a bad day. This is someone who seems to have an encyclopedic knowledge of your life, even the parts you haven't shared with them directly. Imagine this. You casually mention a childhood vacation spot, and they know the exact location. Or they seem to be aware of your work schedule, your favorite coffee shop, or the book you're currently reading, even when you haven't told them. They might follow your social media closely, scrutinizing every post, every like, every comment. They might even ask others about you, gathering information to feel closer to you. This goes beyond just being interested in your life. It's about crossing boundaries, about knowing more than they should. It can make you feel seen, yes, but also uncomfortably exposed. An interest in your life is natural, but when someone knows more than they should, it can be a sign of obsession. So what does it mean when someone is obsessed with you? It's a question that carries a lot of weight and can be quite complex to understand. As we've seen throughout this video, there are several signs that can indicate someone's obsession. We began with the sign of constant attention. This is when someone always seems to be around, always present in your life, even in situations where they don't necessarily need to be. It's as if they've made you the center of their universe, and while attention can be flattering, too much of it can be suffocating. Next, we talked about the overly protective individual. This person always seems to be watching out for you, even when it's not necessary or welcome. They're always ready to step in, even when you've made it clear you can handle things yourself. Overprotection is a sign that someone is crossing boundaries, and it's a clear indication of obsession. We then discussed excessive communication. This is when someone is always reaching out, always wanting to talk, and always wanting to know what you're doing. While communication is key in any relationship, an overload of it can indicate someone's inability to give you space, highlighting their obsessive tendencies. The fourth sign, jealousy, is one that can be quite destructive. A person who is obsessed with you might show extreme jealousy, not just in romantic situations, but in your interactions with others as well. Jealousy is an emotion that can quickly spiral out of control and lead to toxic behavior. Lastly, we touched on the sign of someone knowing too much about you. This is when a person seems to know details about your life that you didn't share with them. It's as if they've been studying you, and while curiosity is natural, excessive knowledge can be a clear sign of obsession. So, what do you do if you notice these signs in someone? First and foremost, it's important to establish boundaries. Make it clear what behavior you are and are not comfortable with. If the person continues to cross these boundaries, it may be necessary to seek help, either from trusted friends, family, or professionals. Remember, obsession is not the same as love or friendship. It's an unhealthy fixation that can lead to harmful behavior. Recognizing the signs of obsession is crucial in ensuring your safety and well-being. It's also important to note that anyone can fall into obsessive behavior, and it's not always done with malicious intent. Often, it's a sign that the person is struggling with their own issues and may need help themselves. In conclusion, understanding these signs of obsession and taking appropriate action is paramount. Obsession can be a serious issue, and it's not something to be taken lightly. Remember, understanding these signs is the first step in dealing with obsession. Stay safe and be mindful of the signals others may be sending you.